Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 23rd, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, where do we leave off? I had a good night overall. I'm glad I didn't delve too harder, didn't delve too deeper, much deeper after the episode. I ate some food, which I made some what was it, like Korean fried chicken and rice. It was very yummy, yum 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 yum. And then let's see, I got up early in the morning and did some laundry. So yeah, very productive. As per usual, I got a bag of donuts, and I got a couple. I got like one extra donut this time. So let me just break them all down. I got a frosted cinnamon roll, which was very good. That was actually probably the best thing I got. A sticky bun, which is, a staple for me when I go to Jupiter Donuts. And then, let's see, what else did I get? I got this red velvet cake Christmas donut, and it had this like really yummy icing on it. It was like this green piped on icing, and then they had these little BBs on. It was like kind of Christmas colored. It was all kind of a Christmas situation. That donut I only ate like about half of, and then like licked some of the icing on off top because the icing was like so yummy. Sometimes I'm just an icing slut, and that's what I'm really there for. But yeah, like the cake donut itself is kind of like kind of boring, a little flat, but it's fine. And then I got a iced sprinkled donut, but I wound up just taking like a bite of it, and like it felt like I almost chipped my tooth, and I was done. Mainly because it was that like buttercream like pearl icing on it, and when I had asked the guy for it, I had pointed at that section of donuts, but I realized I had only wanted the one, and he gave me all like the other one. So I was like, whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's what I asked for, so I wasn't mad about it. It was more of like a user error on my end. I probably just shouldn't have picked from those donuts. But yeah, overall it was fine. I enjoyed my donut run. It was very tasty, very succulent. And yeah, I'm more sober today. So I feel like hopefully this episode will be a little bit more coherent. But yeah, it's always loose. You know me. You know my style. And I'm still going to do my startup. So let me go ahead and get to that. Shit ain't changed. Oh, hell yeah. All right. We are back on the beer. Thank the Lord. Trying to get it out before we get started. But we all know a burp is probably going to come. It's just science. From The Guardian. Israeli airstrike kills Gaza aid worker and 70 of his extended family, UN says. An Israeli airstrike has killed a veteran aid worker and more than 70 members of an extended family in Gaza, the UN agency that employed him said, calling for an urgent ceasefire to protect civilians and humanitarian workers. Issam al-Mughrabi, 56, died with his wife, Lamia, 5 children, and scores of other relatives in an attack near Gaza City, the head of the UN Development Program said. He had worked for the UNDP for nearly 30 years. And then news of their deaths comes soon after the UN passed a resolution calling for a massive increase in aid shipments to Gaza. However, it did not demand for a suspension of hostilities after the U.S. said it would veto any resolution that did. So I'm kind of going to use this to segue to that. I know we had talked about this earlier in the month when it came to, initially, like of the 13, they shut that down. Then it opened up to the wider council more or less, it took the U.S. to veto it, to say, okay, no, like, we got to rework this. And sure enough, that's what the U.S. fucking did. They did all that fucking work for Israel. So yeah, we'll cover that real quick. I'm not gonna get into all the details, but the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution on more aid for Gaza after several days of delays and weakened language that did not call for a ceasefire in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, prompting a backlash, with some describing it as woefully insufficient and nearly meaningless. And I would fucking agree with that. It is a shame that the initial resolution that was set to go was already there, and then it's like, nope. I know, because, and that's the thing. I try not to get too bogged down on the logistics of how this all fucking works. So it's like, yeah, technically this is a correction. I thought, like, okay, well, at least, even though I know this is going to be toothless and nothing's going to come of it, at least this resolution will stand as it is. And collectively, at least the UN, that was their statement. But no, it's not. It's not going to stand as that, because the U.S. said, no, we're going to keep chipping at this and keep chipping at this, and we will do that until you guys come to the table and give us, a resolution that we can work with, which is essentially even weaker than what we had started with. So it's a shame. It's very unfortunate. It's just so vague and watered down. But I guess that hopefully more aid can get into Gaza. That is the hope always. But it does suck, because what good is that aid if, one, lives are going to be lost because of all the bombing, all this fucking violence that's happening because of this war that's being pushed because there's no ceasefire. Then, not to mention, there's no, like, power. There's, like, there's no electricity. You have no means. So it's like, okay, cool, you got flour, but you can't bake bread. So what are you going to do with the flour? Not to mention, there's diseases spreading because, you have lack of water. You have just lack of just aid. There's no hospitals at this point that are operational. There's going to be potentially more deaths from disease than just the bombardment, just the bombs and all the fucking fighting and violence. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess, cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to lose sight of the whole, like, yes, there are hostages and all that fucking shit. I get it. But at the end of the day, people are dying. Like, over 20,000 people. That shit is still on the rise, And it's crazy that the idea is like, well, we have to eliminate Hamas. We have to stop Hamas. But you can't. Like, this strategy is not going to do that. You guys can stay here for months into years, and you're probably still not going to get all the people you want. And that's not going to stop the ideology. It's not going to stop it at all. In fact, you've only emboldened it, So it's very sad. It's very unfortunate. But I know that even at the top of this shit, before we even covered this, despite my, my lack of knowledge on the UN, I do know the UN doesn't do anything. At least not really. They are a mouthpiece for the nations to say, hey, this is how we feel about this and that and the third. But I mean, shit, even when we covered them with the Ukraine-Russia conflict, it's like, cool, I'm glad you guys, said your 2 cents and your 2 bits, and you pour this and that and the third, but like, motherfucking actions are still happening, and there's the NATO's not moving, no one's moving, so what are we gonna do? Just a lot of talking, a lot of quote-unquote diplomacy. So yeah, figured we'd cover that. Let's go on and move to the next bump, though. From the Associated Press, paramedics were convicted in Elijah McClain's death. That can make others first responders pause. 2 Denver area paramedics were convicted Friday for giving a fatal overdose of the sedative ketamine to Elijah McClain in 2019, a jury verdict that experts said could have a chilling effect on first responders around the country. The case involving the 23-year-old black man's death was the first among several recent criminal prosecutions against medical first responders to reach trial, potentially setting the bar for prosecutors for future cases. It was also the last of 3 trials against police and paramedics charged in the death of McClain, whom officers stopped following a suspicious person complaint. He was injected with a sedative after being forcibly restrained. The case received little attention until protests over the 2020 killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. An Aurora police officer was convicted of homicide and third-degree assault earlier this year. We did cover that. That was Randy Rodema, who was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and third-degree assault by a 12-person jury. The other officer, Jason Rosenblatt, was not guilty. Now, in the situation, and that was, I think, about 3 years or so of prison for Rodema. Let's see here. The jury on Friday found Aurora Fire Rescue paramedics Jeremy Cooper and Peter Chakunek guilty of criminally negligent homicide following a weeks-long trial in state district court. They could face years in prison at sentencing. The jury also found Chakunek guilty on one of 2 second-degree assault charges, which brings the possibility of an enhanced prison sentence and required that he be taken into immediate custody. Cooper was not found guilty on the assault charges and was not taken into custody. They are also fired by the Aurora State, EMT or whatever the fuck, paramedics. But yeah, so I mean, it's big, it's relevant, and I know that people have like a mixed reaction because they're saying, oh, well, this is going to have a chilling effect. You now have paramedics that are going to come on the scene and they might hesitate to give life-saving care to a person. But I'm like, yeah, but if you are doing what has happened in this case, essentially you came on the scene, you did not actually give a proper assessment of the person you were going to inject a drug like ketamine into, and you're just going to take the cop's word for it and say, oh, this person has what we're saying is like excited delirium. He's just freaking out. He's so strong. We can't control him. And you have to do something. And you then do this. And then not to mention add on not actually giving proper aftercare to the person you've administered the strong drug to. And they die. Yes, the onus, it should be on you. Like I understand that for me, I kind of feel a little weird that the Rosenblatt guy, he got off on the shit, and these 2 guys are just gonna get the bag. But I also look at it as like, no, everyone who's involved in this is a player. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I get it. When a cop tells you to do something and you're an EMT guy, I get that you just go, okay, I'm gonna help this cop out. That's my job. But it's no, your job is just like the cop, is protecting and serving. It is to the people. It is to the community. And Elijah McClain was a part of the community. He was just walking home from his fucking job. So what? He had a fucking like face mask on or whatever. Like at the end of the day, that didn't make him a suspicious person in the fucking first place. He shouldn't have been fucking hassled. He shouldn't be in a fucking situation where now he's being wrapped up by fucking cops and now you're injecting him with fucking ketamine. That shouldn't have never fucking happened. Nah, no. So yeah, you should have that hesitation of maybe this cop is wrong. Maybe this person's telling me something wrong and I should really make a full fucking assessment of the situation. And then if I do act, I should fully do the service, not just fucking piss off and be like, whatever, okay, just another day, chilly shit, huh? No, dude. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about this story several times. I know we're going to revisit it again come the sentencing. But yeah, I mean, I know for the mother, she was happy, which is warranted. I mean, you're happy to get whatever justice you can get. At the end of the day, like I said, they're saying years, and I don't know how many years. It doesn't look like it's going to be that many, most likely. But no matter what, no matter how many years, it's not going to bring Elijah back. We all know that. There's no amount of quote unquote justice in that way that's going to actually rectify this. But it is something that will take. And that regard, I do like that there is an accountance of that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's going to give you that hesitation, that pause, then so fucking be it. That's what I have to say about that, I guess. So yeah, I mean, that's heavy. That's serious. The next story is a little bit less so, a little bit more star-studded. But, I mean, let me take my break and then we'll just close this out. It's going to be pretty quick. Ooh, yeah. Okay. From the Associated Press. Charlie Sheen's neighbor arrested after being accused of assaulting actor in Malibu home. Charlie Sheen's neighbor was arrested after being accused of assaulting the actor in a Malibu, California home this week, authorities said. Electra Chirac was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said in a statement on Friday. She was also taken into custody for force likely to create bodily injury and burglary. Authorities arrived at the residence Wednesday afternoon after receiving a battery disturbance call. Chirac, 47 years old, was expected to appear in court on Friday. Representatives for Sheen did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So yeah, that's it. That's all I really have there. I mean, I guess I could kind of talk about Charlie Sheen, the Tiger Blood man himself. Really thinking about it though, they list what is it, 2.5 Men. That's probably his most known. I feel like for the average like millennial, I think like gun to your head, that's the thing you're gonna name. Maybe I'm wrong there. They talk about Wall Street, Three Musketeers, Major League. Major League, I feel like is big. But yeah, I mean, dude, he's a big actor. That's pretty crazy. Also for other reasons, but we won't get into all of the stuff. It's not that kind of podcast. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, hopefully, you either have all your Christmas shopping done. You're good. You hopefully are not gonna have to like get into a jingle all the way scenario come Christmas Eve. Hopefully we're cool. We're chilling. I am kind of nervous because I decided to put off my groceries. I'm gonna do grocery shopping Sunday morning. Hopefully it's not wild. Hopefully it's not crazy. I feel like I should be good to get in and out of there. But wish me luck on that. But yeah, that's the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, patreon.com/Isaiah News. You become a newsie, and I will shout you out at the top of the month. Plug a project if you like. Then let's see. Free way to send some feedback. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And I'm on all the socials you're on. Feel free to follow me or the podcast. And hopefully you're subscribed to the YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified. You can do that on all your little app listening apparatuses, so feel free to please do that. Also, comments do a lot for me. It does a lot for my little algorithm, the little robots in the machines. So yeah, say something nice, say something cool. That helps out a lot. Talk about Charlie Sheen or something. That'd be fine. There you go. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.